Hey, I want to welcome you to today's video devotion. Today we've got a special one for you. If you want to serve the Lord and be used of God, you need to hear today's devotion. So let's go straight to it right now. One of the first lessons that I had to learn in my ministry was that the work of God must be done in the power of the Spirit of God. We cannot do God's work in our own power and our own strength. If we try to do it, we will fail miserably. We need God. The work of God must be done in the Spirit of God. So I want to speak to you today about working in the Spirit. So many of us are working, trying to serve God, trying to do God's will. Have you ever wondered why we see so little fruit in our ministry? Have you ever wondered why, people's lives aren't being changed? The world around us is not being impacted? It may be because we're trying to do the work of God in our own power. We must do the work of God in the power of the Spirit of God. Now, there was a man in the Bible who had to learn that lesson, and it was a difficult lesson for him to learn. And that man was Moses. You see, Moses was a great man of God. He was a great leader among God's people. But in the very beginning, he was young, he was powerful. Moses' parents trusted him to the Lord, and he ended up growing up as the son of the Pharaoh's daughter. He had lots of power, lots of authority. He had military might. And yet he knew who he was. He knew his identity. And one day he went out and he saw some Egyptians mistreating his Hebrew brothers. And so he became angry, and trying to do the right thing, he did it in his own power, in his own strength, and he struck the Egyptian, and he killed the Egyptian, and he ended up fleeing into the Midianite desert. What did it accomplish? Absolutely nothing. He tried to do the work of God. He tried to do the right thing, but he tried to do it in his own power. And that's what I see so much today. A lot of people running around doing this, doing that, trying to change lives, trying to reach people for Christ, trying to impact the culture, all of those things, trying to serve the Lord, honestly, sincerely, but doing it in their own power. We must learn to do the work of God in the power of the Spirit of God. I remember the first time that I heard Billy Graham preach. I went to Houston, Texas, and I was just a new believer, and God had just called me to the ministry, and I was so excited. I'd heard so much about Billy Graham, and I'll be honest with you, I was disappointed when I heard him, because I had been trained in oratory and public speaking, and I thought this is going to be a great speaker. And he was a good speaker, but not that great. And I thought to myself, my goodness, what's going to happen here? And then when he gave the invitation, man, multitudes begin to respond, to come to know Christ. And I thought, wow, if this is what happens when he does this, what's going to happen when I speak? And so the first time I had an opportunity to preach an evangelistic message, boy, I used all of my oratorical skills, and I raised my voice when I needed to raise it, and I lowered my voice when I needed to lower it, and I did everything just right. And I said, if you want to know Christ, I want you to come right now and give your heart to Christ. And do you know what happened? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. You see, I had to learn that the work of God is not done by the eloquence of a person's speech. The work of God is not done by the power of his oratory. The work of God is not done by human talent and human skill. The work of God must be done in the power of the Spirit of God. When you learn that lesson, you're going to see fruit that will last, fruit that will remain. So do the work of God in the power of the Spirit of God.